Today, we're going to be reviewing how we made $9,400 wholesaling a piece of real estate in Tennessee. Now, this came from Lead Zolo, so it was an inbound PPL lead, and you're going to see 2 live seller conversations. In each of them, there's going to be important moments that I want you to pay attention to. Now, the first conversation is the initial contact by me, where I'm talking to the seller and going through the closer's formula, what we used to use. This is in the development stages, okay? Now, I want you to pay attention to the amount of silence throughout the call, specifically towards the end when I make my offer. I make my offer, I end with the amount, and I give him a range of $115,000 to $120,000. And then I sit and I resonate inside of that silence. The seller then gives me a small response. That's interesting. Something along those lines. And I remain in the silence until the seller asks me, what are the next steps? Now, that phone conversation took place on a Thursday. The next conversation you're going to see happened the following Monday. This is going to be the follow-up conversation where I reach out to him and say, hey, did you get that contract that I sent you? Very important. And one of the things I want you to pay attention to during that conversation is how he then remembers that I offered a range of $115,000 to $120,000, and he hits me and he counters me with the higher end of the range. Now, the moment that he hits me with that, that's my open door moment where I can go for the close. And so I tell him, if I send you a contract right now for $120,000, are you going to sign it? And he does. So enjoy these 2 live seller calls. Once these are done, I'll come back and tell you what happened with the rest of this transaction.
Hello, it's Tom.
Hey, Tom, this is RJ Bates calling about your property on Marshall Circle. How are you doing?
Good. You're a little muffled. I didn't catch all of what you said.
Oh, I was calling about your property there on Marshall Circle. You had entered it on my website saying that you were looking to sell. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Excellent. How much are you looking to get for that property?
About 130.
130. All right. Tell me a little bit about what's going on with the property.
Well, tenants moved out yesterday.
Gotcha.
And need some work on it.
Just normal wear and tear from tenants, or what are we looking at?
No, there's a little bit more of some buckling in the floor.
From foundation or what?
Well, it's not crawl space.
Gotcha.
So.
But is it like, what do you think is causing the buckling?
I think there was a water leak underneath the house.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. What else besides that?
Not much that I can think of, but then I hadn't really been in it, so.
Right. All right. Let me see here. How much were those tenants paying monthly?
Oh, he was getting a deal. He was paying $850.
I got you.
They'd probably rent for 12 or 13. He'd been in there since 2015, I think.
Gotcha. All right, give me just a few minutes here. So what's got you wanting to sell? Just because they moved out and you just don't want to fix it up?
Yeah, I don't want to mess with it.
I got you. Cash only, no seller finance or anything like that?
Nope.
Out of curiosity, how did you come up with the price of 130?
That's the number I like. You know.
Already?
Yeah, I figured if it was fixed up, it'd go close to 2, maybe 180 to 200, something like
Just trying to look at it from two different aspects. One, if we're gonna keep it as a rental, we're paying 130, and then we fix it up, we kind of push ourselves out of a cash flow position there. So really, our only play is kind of to fix it up and sell it. So just looking around and seeing what these other properties that sold for a higher amount, what they looked like when they were finished. It's kind of strange. Some of them are really nice, and then other ones they didn't do a whole lot to them. Is this property is only 925 square feet, right?
Yeah, it's not too big. It's a nice big double garage, though. It's probably almost as big as the house.
Yeah, I see it back there. What about the roof? Has that been replaced, or is it still that brown roof?
I would say nothing's been done to it lately.
Okay. Let me see here. All right. I don't want to keep you waiting forever, so let me give you. I think I need to be closer to like 115, 120, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
925 square feet. It's not big, but taking care of the buckling there. And then, like you said, not much has been done to it recently. Just taking into account for like a full cosmetic rehab there.
Mm-hmm.
Feel pretty comfortable at, like I said, 115, 120.
Okay, that's tempting. So what's the next step?
Well, the next step would be if you're okay with those numbers, I send over a contract to you. You sign the contract. We come out. We do our walkthrough. We open up title. And we get the thing closed inside of June. Pretty seamless process.
Okay. The property is actually my sister's name, I think. Let's go ahead and send me over the paperwork.
Let me just look here real quick to make sure I got her name and stuff. Let me pull this up on a different site. Jody.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I will send that over to you. When I send it over to you, just make sure that, she's the one that signs it. But outside of that, I'll send it over to you probably in about half hour. Okay.
Yep.
All right, Tom. Appreciate you.
Okay. You bet.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so now you've seen the live seller conversations. We got it signed. Now we're under contract. We opened up title. This was a very simple dispo process. We didn't have to blast this on Investor Lift. We didn't have to use Investor Base or Prop Stream or Privy or anything like that. Why? Because we had a relationship with an end buyer. See, this is important. I talk about this all the time. If you want to be a virtual wholesaler, the importance of building relationships and knowing this is where an end buyer will buy makes this so much easier. Zero effort on the dispositions whatsoever. The moment I had the initial conversation, Keaton reached out to a known buyer in this area and said, here's the address. Here's the price point we're looking at. Tell me what you think. 24 hours later, we knew that our end buyer was willing to come in at 1:30. We already knew that. So the moment that we got the signed contract, an assignment went out to our end buyer, earnest money was deposited the next day, and about 3 weeks later, this transaction closed. Super easy. How is that possible? Well, this deal took place in 2023. We had been doing business with this end buyer going all the way back to 2021. So 2 years of building that relationship and knowing where this end buyer buys and what their buy box is and how they run their numbers and always staying in communication. That's how we were able to dispo this deal. Nothing more, nothing less. It takes time to build this up. We have been actively working on building those types of relationships with end buyers for the past 5 years. Half of our time in our wholesaling careers has been building relationships across the United States with end buyers. And now we have the opportunity to be able to just pick the phone, one dial dispo. Everyone wants to freak out about the one dial acquisition calls. See, this acquisitions actually took more phone calls than the dispo process. And for me, I'm more proud of that than I am about any one dial close. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you like the video. We'll see you guys tomorrow.